Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're doing things a little differently, ditching those usual job boards we all know, and exploring something called RoleCatcher.
RoleCatcher.
Yeah, RoleCatcher. It's making a splash in the career development world, and we're here to see if it lives up to all the hype.
Well, what's really interesting about RoleCatcher is it's designed to be like your one-stop shop for career advancement. It's like that, remember that overflowing folder, the one where you keep all your resumes, cover letter templates, job applications, and notes about different
Oh
companies?
yeah, definitely.
RoleCatcher wants to be that folder, but streamlined, digital, and, well, intelligent.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
But for those of us who are used to just using, like, the basic job boards or LinkedIn, what makes RoleCatcher stand out?
It's all about taking a more proactive approach to your career, you see. Imagine a platform that doesn't just show you jobs, but helps you understand those automated recruiting systems everyone's using these days.
Oh, you mean the ones that make you feel like your resume just disappears into a black hole?
Exactly. RoleCatcher helps demystify those algorithms, or at least that's the idea.
I've got to admit, that's a huge pain point for me, and I'm sure I'm not alone.
Mm.
It's so frustrating to pour hours into a perfect resume and cover letter only to hear nothing back. Does RoleCatcher actually help with that?
That's the goal. It gives you a peek behind the curtain. See, their platform analyzes job descriptions and figures out the specific skills and keywords employers are looking for. Then it shows you how to adjust your application to match.
So it's like having a secret decoder ring for job applications.
Kind of. It levels the playing field.
I like it. Okay, so how does this actually work in the real world?
Okay, so let's say you're a project manager, right?
Yeah.
And you're looking for a new gig in, say, the tech industry. You'd put your info into RoleCatcher, along with project manager, tech, that kind of thing.
Got it.
Then when you find a job you're interested in, you can pull it into RoleCatcher. It analyzes the description, compares it to your profile, and gives you a report.
What kind of report?
A tailored one. It'll tell you if there are any areas where your profile isn't strong enough based on what they're looking for. It might even suggest add in certain keywords, highlighting different projects, even tweaking the language you use to match the company.
So it's like having a personal career coach in your back pocket.
Exactly.
That's amazing. But isn't that what AI tools like ChatGPT are for?
That's a great question, and a lot of people are asking that these days. ChatGPT and those general AI tools, they're helpful, don't get me wrong, but they often don't have the industry-specific knowledge for this sort of thing, right? It's like
Yeah.
you wouldn't go to a general practitioner for heart surgery.
Makes sense.
You'd want a specialist, someone who really understands the ins and outs of your particular field, right?
That's a great analogy.
RoleCatcher, they're like the cardiac surgeon of career development platforms. They've got that specific knowledge and experience.
Wow. Okay. I'm sold on the analogy.
They've trained their AI on a huge data set of resumes, job descriptions, hiring trends, all that stuff. So it's much more targeted than a general AI tool.
This is already blowing my mind, and we haven't even gotten to their AI assistant, Copilot.
Ah, yes. Copilot. That's where things get really interesting. But we'll dive into Copilot and a whole bunch of other cool features right after this.
All right, so before we got pulled away, we were just about to hear all about RoleCatcher's AI assistant, Copilot. It sounds seriously impressive.
It's definitely a game changer. Remember all that time we were saying you spend, tailoring your resume and cover letter for each job?
Yeah.
Copilot can help streamline that whole process.
Well, please tell me to write your cover letter for you, because that's the worst part.
Well, you're in luck. Copilot actually generates custom cover letter templates based on the job description and your experience, of course.
No way.
It's not just churning out generic letters, though. It's using AI to write something that'll really make you stand out.
Okay, that right there is a game changer for anyone who hates writing cover letters. What else can it do?
Think of Copilot like a 24/7 career coach, always there to help you out.
Okay, I like that.
It can help, say, find the gaps in your skills based on the jobs you want.
Oh, interesting.
And then it recommends some online courses, maybe a training program or two, just to help you level up.
Makes sense.
It can even analyze your practice interview answers. Gives you feedback on like your delivery, were you clear? Did you actually answer the question? Stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Copilot sounds seriously impressive. But I want to circle back to a feature you mentioned earlier called Get Discovered. Most job platforms are all about, us finding them. But RoleCatcher kind of flips that whole idea, right?
100%. And it's about time, if you ask me.
So how does Get Discovered work?
It's actually pretty simple. You just turn on the feature and create a really detailed profile. Highlight your skills, your experience, what your career goals are, even things like your ideal work environment. Then RoleCatcher shows that profile to employers who are using the platform to actively search for candidates.
So instead of applying to a million jobs,
The jobs come to you.
that's incredible. No more endlessly searching through job boards and sending out resumes into the void.
No more void.
It's like having your own personal headhunter. It seems like companies are finally realizing that the old way of finding talent just isn't cutting it anymore, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a trend. They're looking for new, more efficient ways to connect with qualified people, and platforms like RoleCatcher are leading the charge. Makes you wonder why nobody's done this sooner.
I know, right? But let's be real. No matter how much the job market changes, the interview process never seems to get any less nerve-wracking. Can RoleCatcher help with that too?
Of course, they actually have this massive library of interview questions, over 120,000 of them.
Wait, 120,000? Seriously, I think I blanked on like 10 questions in my last interview alone.
Don't worry, the point isn't to overwhelm you. It's all about giving you the tools to succeed.
Okay, good. Because 120,000 questions sounds a little intense.
The questions are organized by industry, by role, even by specific company. That way you can focus on the ones that are actually relevant for you.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
You can use it to practice your answers, get comfortable with all the different ways they could ask the same question.
So you can walk into your interview feeling cool, calm, and collected.
Exactly. Well, hopefully a little less stressed anyway.
That already sounds way less scary. But with that many questions, it seems like it would be kind of hard to know where to even start. Does RoleCatcher offer any guidance for how to use this massive database?
Totally. They've got articles and guides about interview prep on their website, including a bunch on how to use the question database strategically. Plus, they have tons of other great tips like what to wear, how to follow up, even things like what to do with your hands. They've really thought of everything.
Wow, RoleCatcher really does sound like the ultimate wingman in your job search.
Yeah.
But what about the competition? How do they stack up against other platforms like JobScan, Teal, or even LinkedIn?
That's a smart question. Don't forget, RoleCatcher's a pretty new company. They haven't been around as long as some of the other guys. That said, they're off to a pretty amazing start. They offer a combo of features that you just don't really see anywhere else. Like, you might have other platforms that are great for one or two things, like resume optimization or job hunting. But RoleCatcher's trying to do it all.
It's like the Swiss Army knife of career development tools.
There you go. And they've really gone all in on AI, which is something we're seeing more and more, but RoleCatcher's really integrated it at every level.
It's not just a gimmick. It's fundamental to their whole platform. But what about using something like ChatGPT for all this? Couldn't we just DIY it and save some money? That's a question a lot of our listeners are probably thinking about, especially with ChatGPT and all those tools getting so much attention. So could we just use a general AI and call it a day?
It's tempting, right? Especially if you're trying to save a few bucks. But, it goes back to that analogy we were talking about before. ChatGPT, it's like that general practitioner, right? Helpful, sure. But when you need something specific, you got to go to the specialist.
So like, you might save some money going the general AI route, but you might miss out on those really key insights that a platform like RoleCatcher can give you.
Exactly. And when it comes to your career, well, I think it's worth investing in the best tools, right?
I totally agree. But let's be real for a second. No platform's perfect.
Yeah.
Are there downsides to RoleCatcher we should know about?
It's true. There are always things to consider. I mean, for one thing, they're still pretty new, right? They don't have the same track record as some of the bigger names out there.
So it's kind of a leap of faith for anyone who tries it out right now.
Maybe a little, yeah. But if you don't mind trying out new tech, and maybe even helping shape how the platform evolves, then RoleCatcher could be a great fit.
That's a good point.
They seem really open to feedback, which is always good to see.
Always a good sign. But no matter what new tech you're using, it's important to be cautious, right?
Absolutely. I mean, as amazing as AI is, it's not perfect, right? It can make mistakes. RoleCatcher's algorithms are only as good as the information they're trained on, and while they seem to have a lot of great data, you still need to use your own judgment, double-check everything.
Don't just take their word for it.
Exactly. You've got to be smart about it.
It's like any tool, really. You got to use it the right way. It's not about replacing you completely. It's about giving you an extra edge.
Could have said it better myself. The human element, that's still what matters most in the job hunt. No algorithm in the world can replace building relationships and showing what makes you, you, right?
All comes back to taking control of your own career.
Right.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into RoleCatcher. Hopefully everyone out there listening learned a thing or two, maybe feeling a little more prepared to tackle that job search. Remember, the job market can be tough, But with the right tools and a little bit of effort, you can definitely find the right job for you. Until next time, everyone, happy job hunting.